Welcome to our school's podcast. Here we're going to show you how teachers, parents, and pupils can share advice, tips, and know-how to bring the best out of all of us. Learning is a joint experience, and through our series of interviews, we can all learn more and achieve even greater things. Here is this week's host.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another exciting podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Grizzly Talk Podcast with your host, Kennedy Patterson, y'all. Yes, we back. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we are officially back here live from Swanky Studios to bring you guys another new episode of the Grizzly Talk Podcast. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I know I've been staying away for a couple of weeks now when it comes to podcasting stuff. We've had a lot of things going on, whether it's summer school with the summer courses, whether it is our peaceful protest, which I'll get to that in a minute, down to, of course, some new exciting things to come out from Swanky Studios in general. So we have a lot to cover. We have a lot of things to talk about here on the podcast. So I do want to thank you guys for, staying with us. I know on Instagram it's been dry. I know with podcasting I haven't been doing so much of it lately. Like I said before we went down, it's our podcast. We work on what's going on at GGC with this podcast show. So if I have nothing to go around at GGC, there's not much I can talk about on the podcast. But there's quite a few things that I wanted to talk about. Tonight we're doing our broadcast tonight. Happy Juneteenth to everyone who celebrates. I know I definitely celebrate Juneteenth for sure. You guys can follow our Instagram today. Of course, we announced. It's a humbling experience, honestly, because when we've got the characters developed and getting ready to shoot. Of course, Storm of Okra is a new film of mine that we've been working on. It will be a short film that's coming out in 2021. So, of course, next year. So it's not coming out this year at all because I have two other movies that's in the works. Of course, American Ride, Ballad of Thomas Wiley comes out this year too. So, Storm of Okra is really something that I've been waiting to do. To have that all-black character lead and to tell original stories. So hopefully you guys enjoy it for sure. Down to the peaceful protest again. Round of applause to every student that came out, honestly. You guys have made that thing possible. So, ladies and gentlemen, you guys made that peaceful protest possible. Almost a lot of students have seen the videos, the photos, the interviews. A lot of people have heard the podcast. Based on my analytics this morning, you guys really broke it down, and you really broke record. We've had, actually, to be honest, we've had the most views in a couple of weeks with the peaceful protest that we had in weeks. So you guys made that thing possible. I do want to thank Nora, and Takunda for allowing me to be a part of that peaceful protest. That event was just so much fun to do. Not only that it was fun, but it was a very, very, very humble experience. And to really see that, to see that students come out and they really, really come out and do their thing, it really gets me warmed up. It really gets me to a great point. And I have never been so proud of GGC before, but I'm definitely proud of the students who came out to that peaceful protest. So for all of you guys who came out to that, thank you very much. We really, really appreciate it. And let's continue to make change for not only in Georgia, but around the world. So I really recommend you guys, and I said this in the peaceful protest before, go out there and vote if you haven't voted already. It's too late to vote for primaries in Georgia, but when November comes back around and you're getting ready to go out there and really vote, go out there and vote. It takes a couple of seconds to go out there and go vote. So I really recommend that to everyone out there. So more on GGC news, of course. We've had some things to come apart that came out, of course. GGC will resume the in-class class for the fall semester with safety accommodations in place, including a modified classroom setup designed to maintain the distance. Now, a lot of students may have some different things about this one. I have two ways about this. Number one, I am kind of happy that, we get to somehow get back on campus, because I really do miss the GGC environment. I really do miss seeing students. And to be honest with you guys, I really do miss students coming onto our podcast show. We have so many things that we want to do, ladies and gentlemen, and I'll say this right now on the podcast show before we close out later on. But if you have not been on our podcast show as of yet, what are you waiting for? Send me an email at kpatterson2@ggcd.edu if you guys want to be a part of the podcast. It really is very, very amazing. We had so many RSOs to come on the podcast before, so if you have not been on our podcast yet, what are you waiting for? The time is now. The reason why I'm encouraged that, because fall season for podcasting is extremely important to me. As many of you guys know, I am graduating in December, so that means that the podcast show will be no longer after I graduate, unless I find someone who has the potential to carry on the baton when Kennedy Patterson is long gone and graduated. So, if you guys want to be a part of this podcast, now is the time. I did have a student reach out to me. We're going to get him on the podcast very soon to talk about military services, being a father, and being really a family man with his family. His name is Sean Taylor. I can't wait to have you on the show, buddy. And we have so many other RSOs who are scheduled to come on the podcast for fall. So if you haven't scheduled it with me, I really, really recommend you guys doing that today. Send me an email. I'll respond right back to you, and we can get you guys scheduled. Of course, we're also practicing the social distancing for the fall too. So rest assured, I am thinking of some ways to do our podcast and still maintaining that social distancing. So I'm still waiting for that. Number two. That was number two about why I'm excited. Now, a lot of GGC students are saying that this is way too early. If you think about it, GGC students, a lot of restaurants nowadays are really opening up. And a lot of restaurants are going to be open, and they're taking a lot of precautionary things to avoid the spread of COVID-19. Now, I went to Oyster Bay a couple days ago. This is not a sponsorship to Oyster Bay, but it's a good restaurant in Lawrenceville. I really recommend my GC students going if you like a good seafood. They really took some precaution when we were there for social distancing. So things are starting to open back up. Now, slowly but surely. I'm not saying that everything's opening up 100% tomorrow. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that things are opening up and things are changing. So we still live in the uncertainty times. We still do not know. They're also doing the precaution. I do this here at K.L.P. Entertainment. I do it at Property Management. If you're feeling sick, stay home. Don't even come in the office. So that's something that they're doing. They're implementing to a lot of students for the fall, I believe, where if you feel sick, if you're coughing, if you're sneezing, if you even get if a professor see you coughing and sneezing, they might even kick you out of the class because you're sick, you shouldn't be here, you should go home. So they're really taking some precautionary things about it. I'm excited for it. I'm excited to see what they do. To be honest with you, I'm not really a big fan of the online courses because it's just, I just miss the on-class environment. I miss seeing people, So that's why I'm not really a huge fan with the online courses. So employees are going to be welcome back July 6th, so a couple days after 4th of July, and they're going to revise and approach the rotating schedules, and they're going to think about a lot of things this month of July. So it's just going to be a lot of things that's going around this month of July. So please be sure to stay on any form of social media that you can see GGC. Be sure that you check up with your email. They send out emails about everything that they're doing. So, as of right now, reporting part today, yesterday they had this article, GGC to resume face-to-face classes in the fall. We'll see how that goes. It really is. It's a long time coming. I miss being on campus, but it's a lot of things that's going to change. So do expect some things to be changed at GGC. Of course, Georgia Gwinnett College sees record-breaking increase in enrollment. Of course, The enrollment process has grown up, and I'm so stoked about that. The Georgia Gwinnett College officials reported 14% increase in its summer enrollment. Of course, I'm actually part of that 14% in summer enrollment for the summer courses. The highest summer enrollment increase in the college's 15-year history. And of course, there's a quote here from Mike Pohl, GGC's Vice President of Enrollment Management Services. He says, in times of economic trouble, people turn to higher education as a path to a brighter future. Dr. Jen Joseph says that part. And then, and with the GGC's affordability, quality, and the instructions of a convenient location to such a large population, of course, we know that many people will turn to it. Of course, Mike Pohl, the GGC Vice President of Enrollment Management Services, believes that the college retention incentives contribute to the spike. Of course, GGC implemented retention initiatives in fall of 2019 based on the University System of Georgia data and the student retention and success, he says. So 14% rise, breaking grounds for enrollment. That's very exciting because, GGC, I do see it growing up. I do see that it's going to become a university one day. Sadly, I probably won't be here when it has that title. But to see that GGC is growing, I remember starting back in 2015. It was out there. It was kind of a little bit smaller than it is now, and it was out there. GGC, yeah. But now GGC has grown to great heights, and I'm excited to see the growth of it. I'm excited to see many students become part of a Grizzly family, and I'm very, very excited to see that growth because there's many students that will become more creative. There are students that might want to become more involved. I really do hope if you're one of those 14% increase enrollment when you're starting as a freshman, I really do hope you get involved. I will tell every freshman that. Get involved. That's one thing that I kind of missed out in my freshman year is, I didn't really get involved that much. I was just going to dining hall, going to classes, and going to res life. So I didn't really get too much involved until sophomore year of college. And now I am a senior. And there's some of the things I wish I would have done as I was a freshman than I am now as a senior. So, case in point, Grizzly Talk Podcast. I wish I started this freshman year, but it is what it is, ladies and gentlemen. It is. So, very congratulations to GGC for groundbreaking. I did read they reached over. I want to say if it's not 70,000, but 70,000, 75,000, I believe they reached in the emergency student fund. That is a lot of money, ladies and gentlemen, to be donating, and you donate it to a good cause. You're helping students who are in need, not only in these pandemic times, but in general, you're helping out a lot of students. So I do want to say congratulations to everyone who donated about $75,000. Believe it or not, that is a lot of money to be donated for GGC students. So that can go a long way. That can go a very, very long way. So I am proud of GGC of that. They're giving back to a good cause. And that good cause is the students. And I'm just so stoked about it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed today's podcast. Yes, we are officially back, and we're going to be having more podcasts coming up later on in the week and next week as we roll into July. July is a very exciting month because it is the month before we go back. Things might change. Things might change for the better. We hope that it changed for the better. Only time can only tell for that. If you enjoyed today's show, please be sure to share it to your friends. I had a faculty member come up to me at the peaceful protest, and she didn't even know about the podcast. I told her about it, and she's sharing it with her faculty members. So please be sure to share it to your faculty members and your student body. Follow our hit radio station, GTP 94.6, the radio station, for more content there. And also our Instagram at Grizzly_Talk as we grow to great heights for more followers to come on our Instagram. That's going to do it for the Grizzly Talk Podcast. I'm your host, Kennedy Patterson. See you guys in the next episode, and go Grizzlies.
Loved what you've heard on this week's episode? Well, the answer is simple. It would mean the world to us if you could head over to iTunes and leave us a 5-star review and feedback. Spreading the word really is the best way to grow our podcast and achieve even greater things. Thank you.
Please be advised that this podcast is meant for educational and informational